The Oregon Ducks having won 3 consecutive matches. Beth Lanier, the Dean of Pac-12 coaches in her 28th year. There's her starting lineup. We talked about Adora Anai. Also have to keep a close eye on Carly Truman, the other outside hitters. Kinsey Kerber and Danny Barton, the two opposites in the 6-2. And the first-year head coach for the Oregon Ducks is Matt Ulmer. And there's his starting lineup. Jolie Rasmussen had been out for 4 weeks after a concussion suffered at UCLA. Came back last week. They're a far better team with her on the court. Work. Setter Maggie Scott will get ready to go to work. College volleyball. First 4 sets to 25. The 5th set if necessary. And these two it likely will be to 15. Bailey Choi dialing up Truman, who goes and finds the back line of the night. Carly Truman, the first kill of the match.
Truman's such a fantastic athlete. She jumps so high, so well, uses the top of the block to get the first kill.
Well, the true freshman from Chino Hills, California, Kinsey Kerber, will have the first serve for the Utes. Only recently has been playing all the way around. Her passing very much coming along. Off speed for Lindsay Vanderweide. Here comes Truman. Off the hand, soft block. Bumps at Honar. Swing for Jolie Rasmussen. Diving dig. What a play by Bree Dorman. Another swing for Rasmussen. Her second of the rally, and this time she gets it done.
Great defense and offense for Oregon, continuing just to battle away, and that's something that really helps them because they have so many different players who can get the job done.
Rasmussen developing into a team leader here in her sophomore season. A good pass by Kerber. Swing for Truman. Swing for Lindsay Vanderweide from the left. Off the block and down. Vanderweide with her first kill. She had 19 in the Ducks' 5-set win at the Huntsman Center 4 weeks ago.
Oregon taking advantage when Utah's in the 5-1 situation, which is always the first part of the match. Bailey Choi at only 5'9", definitely a target as far as the block's concerned.
And the overpass, and Willow Johnson capitalizes.
First time these two teams played, Oregon came out and controlled the serve from the get-go. They definitely wanted to do this again.
Yeah, they did that the first 2 sets. Free ball coming for the Ducks. Already leading at 3-1. Willow Johnson off the block of Oblad. And out of bounds. Johnson with a kill. That's her second.
Because Oregon can run antenna to antenna very, very fast, it puts a lot of pressure on the middle blockers for Utah. It's very tough to get out and close both sides when you have to cover so much ground.
Their passes aren't as fast as they've been in years past, but the sets are just as fast. Oblad off the soft block, Veronica Stone. Quick to the middle of Stone, quick to the floor from Stone.
Quick transition when the pass is going for Oregon. Everyone can get involved. Veronica Stone behind the setter, so fast off 1 foot.
Timeout taken by Beth Lanier and the Utah Utes. Look at Veronica Stone. Here she comes. Boom.
Married, and as professional golfers, we're very competitive.
But only on the golf course. 72 seconds. How long can you hold your breath?
No competing at home. Booyah!
That's our rule.
Pure Silk and Barbasol, proud supporters of professional golf and friendly competition everywhere.
Loser takes out the trash.
Try new Pure Silk and Barbasol razors. Available now nationwide.
During the Yellow Tag sales event, you can get $3,500 off a hard day's play. From now until October, world of possibilities with deals on select 2017 Can-Am vehicles. Only at your local Can-Am dealer.
Nothing gets a family's full attention like my freshly prepared chicken. The delicious KFC $20 fill-up with 8 pieces of extra crispy chicken and sides will surely get your kids off their phones. And they may even look at you, their loving parent. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Take it to the turf. The Golden Bears.
California on the score sheet.
The Trojans.
4-0.
Thursday at 2:30 on Pac-12 Network.
Oh, what a personality. The Duck is here, entertaining the crowd as always. 5-1 Oregon here in the first set. Now, on the left is Matt Ulmer, the first-year head coach of the Ducks. On the right is Beth Lanier, the 28th-year head coach of the Utah Utes. Now, get this, Amy. If Ulmer wants to coach the Ducks as long as Lanier has coached the Utes, he'll still be coaching them in 2044.
That's pretty impressive. I think he'd like to be. He really has enjoyed this season in this team.
What an enthusiastic young guy. Matter of fact, he won a national championship sand volleyball as head coach at Long Beach State in 2013. Youngest head coach, indoor or outdoor, ever to win a volleyball national championship. Truman has her second kill. Longest tenured coaches in the Pac-12. Mick Haley, a mere 17 years in comparison with Rubio, Dave Rubio and Beth Lanier. And actually, Rubio's been in the Pac-12 longer because for the Utes, this is just their 7th year in the conference. Swing for Vanderweide. Another kill for Lindsay Vanderweide. Into that block. Now, what do the Utes have to do to be able to utilize that block better? Because they were there.
Well, and it's the problem with the quickness of the attack for Oregon. Berkeley Oblad's trying to get out there to close, but she's moving so quickly and is late, and so her arms are off the net.
There's a quick low set to Oblad. Here's a swing for Johnson. They're going to go back corner or go high off hands, but didn't get the touch and went too long.
And that's the first miss from Oregon, whose offense has been so good, both out of transition and serve receive. So here's a chance for Utah to come back and try to take control from behind the service line.
Maggie Scott looking for the dump, and she got it. Maggie Scott does that in the couple of times a match. She did it twice in the 5-set win in Salt Lake City a month ago.
And whenever that ball falls, it really exposes the fact that the defense isn't watching what they should. You always want to watch the ball, then your setter. Focus on your setter. A lot of times players take their eyes off the setter onto the hitters.
Swing going hard angle attack for Adora and too long. But it's almost unfair for Oregon because they have so many people who can swing it so big.
Yeah, you have to be able to keep track. Your peripheral vision is always tested against a team like Oregon.
August Raske on to serve and set for Oregon in their 6-2. Anai goes off speed, read well by Vanderweide. Raske back row attack for Jolie Rasmussen, and she gets the kill for Rasmussen, her second.
Oregon definitely in control. When you start with the tough serve, then Utah is forever on the defensive. Even if they get that ball back over, Oregon's been able to quickly transition.
We have a rotation error for Utah. What was it?
Louis Falem on a little bit of an overlap.
Yep.
And just more unforced errors right now for Utah as they're struggling. You can kind of sense how a team's feeling by how well their defense is moving. And we've seen a lot of balls drop for Utah that they don't usually let go.
Not a good pass by Adora Anai. Anai in transition, trying to better the ball. And up to the net. And it goes Utah's way. So Anai and the Utes got away with one there.
It kind of looked like that ball was going to fall anyway, but Adora Anai made sure it went down on Oregon's side.
Bailey Choi, the sophomore setter from Honolulu, back to serve for the Utah Utes. Raske back set, backslide Gill, over dig by Scully. There's Lindy Vanderweide, what a dig by Dorman. Swing for Anai, off the block, and has out of bounds. Anai has a kill, that's number 2 for her.
And you see the defense for Utah getting involved, putting some effort, keeping that play alive, and Anai is able to finish it. That's how Utah's going to get back in this first set, is by effort on the defensive side.
Vanderweide with a swing off the hand, she gets a kill, that's number 3.
Vanderweide does so much for this Oregon team, not only offensively in the front row, but her defense and her passing is so critical to the success of this squad.
Earlier this year was struggling with errors. They had a 10-day break. She relaxed and worked on it. Quick to the middle, and wow, what a just a swing for Lua Falamana. She just about hit that ball before it was set.
Exactly. You talk a lot about different kinds of middles, and different teams will run a middle set at a different speed. Tani Louis Falamana runs it the quickest, a 0 tempo. If you want to block it, you have to jump with her before she even gets set.
Berkeley Oblad adept at doing that as well. The other middle for the Utes. Anai to serve. Goes after Rasmussen. Rasky. Back set. Taylor August was there. Now again playing on the right side. And Bailey Choi pushes it over. Pardon me, that was Lua Falamana. And she now has 4 kills.
Dora and I noticing that middle of the court, and if there has been a weakness for Oregon this year, it's been that middle of the court defense.
For good times of charm, right?
They're all good and could have done it.
Violation before the swing by Sumit Gill. Utah is back within 3 after trailing at 10-3. Looking for Anaya to go on a run at the service line. That float falling toward Lindsay Vanderweide. Swing for Taylor August. Nice dig by Choi. Back row attack Anai. Dug by Honar. Rasky. Back row attack Vanderweide. Look out for that. Choi dug it. Bump set by Dorman. And the swing for Kinsey Kerber goes long.
This is that is the type of play we come to expect from both these teams. Very solid offensively and good defensive effort as well. The longer the play goes, it's really going to be interesting to keep how those outside hitters can keep the ball in play.
They let it go, and Rasky dials up the ace. Pardon me, Honar. Alex Honar, the libero.
Honar finding that corner. A lot of movement with that float serve.
Pancake by Dorman to keep it alive, but they rule that she did not.
Oregon, one of the toughest serving teams in the conference. When you control the serve, you control the tempo. You are the person on the attack, and Oregon has come out really firing against Utah.
Well, good coverage by the Utes. Look to the middle, and Veronica Stone. Another kill. It's a net violation on Utah.
Veronica Stone not really happy with that swing, but she'll take the net call and try to get back into a groove with her setters.
Alex Honar at the service line. She had 2 aces against Utah when they won in 5 sets 4 weeks ago, and already 2 tonight. Set by Rasky. Not much there for Taylor August to work with. There's a swing for Truman. She gets dug by Honar. Rasky, back row attack Vanderweide, going off speed. Back row attack Adora Anai finding the floor. She has a kill, number 4.
Adora Anai is a player to watch, obviously, for Utah. She has been since she's been a freshman, but this season she has had moments where she has completely taken control of matches. And against Coach Oregon tonight, talking to Coach Beth Lanier, says they really need Anai to come out strong.
As she goes, the Utes go. Truman, thundering one and past Lindsay Vanderweide. Carly Truman now with 3 kills in 6 swings. Bree Dorman to serve. Service air on Dorman. That's her 12th of the year against 5 aces.
Oregon resetting their double sub as Maggie Scott comes in, and interested in talking to Coach Ulmer. He talked about the lineup that they kind of settled into with Jolie Rasmussen back on the left side, and he said it really benefits our setters. You know, they feel more comfortable, and so as a team we're more comfortable.
Truman going back line, going too strong. He also told us last week that earlier this year when Jolie Rasmussen had been coming back from the back injury she suffered last spring, when she got out there, the entire team just relaxed.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't even have to do anything. Just having her on the floor is good for the team.
It's an ace for Maggie Scott. And it's 18-10 Oregon. This first set has been a set of runs. It was 10-3, then 11-8. Now 18-10 Oregon. And timeout taken by the Utes.
We get a good look at that serve. Oregon has been serving to the right side of the court, trying to disrupt especially the outside hitters for Utah, getting them out of their comfort zone when they're in the front row so that they struggle to get into a rhythm when they swing. And that one just benefit. Carly Truman didn't want to pass. She wanted to hit the ball.
That's a couple of times they've let those floats go, and they found the line.
Right, and I think Utah not used. Sometimes they pass with just two, so even pulling Truman back is not something they're used to, and so she as a passer isn't very comfortable stepping in there.
Already 4 aces for the Ducks. They're third in the conference, 1.3 service aces per set. And Oregon right now is hitting 364 to Utah's 227. Pac-12 right now, Stanford 10-0.
This Saturday, get your first chance to see both the men's and women's basketball teams when they
Utah 8-2, and again they've won 6 of their last 7. They lost last Sunday to USC, which stands right now at 7-3. Washington, Oregon, UCLA at 6-4. Colorado and Oregon State 5-5. So Stanford, the defending national champion, 17-2 and 10-0 in this buzzsaw that is the Pac-12.
It is, and it's interesting as we head into the second half of conference season. I think there's going to be a lot of movement as different teams struggle with injuries. Different teams are on the road or at home. It's going to be very different once November comes around.
Would it be good for Stanford to lose one now?
Well, I think obviously anytime a team loses, you say, oh, this was good for us. It kind of woke us up. We saw that with they lost one and then felt like they were hungry and came out and played really well against a Utah team. But for Stanford, they really want to host. And they want to host all the way through the NCAA tournament. So they want to keep their streak as long as they can to keep their ranking.
I like their chances. Truman with the swing. Van Zerweiler with the dig. Swing for Jolie Rasmussen. Had a couple of kills early on. None since. Swing for Truman. Another kill for Carly Truman. That's number 4. I say that because back in 2005 when Jim McLaughlin was the head coach of Washington, they lost one late in the season. It was their first loss. Karch Karai called him and said, this is a good thing because your team now knows that they're not invincible. And it turned out they won the national title.
Right, for sure, if you can make adjustments after a loss, you definitely want to have it earlier than later. But I think people say that was a good loss, you know, after it happens.
After it happens. You want to win every game. That's right. And there comes a kill for Danny Barton. She has number 1. True freshman out of Sandy, Utah. Last year's Utah Gatorade Player of the Year. Vanderweider's pass tight to the net. Good set by Scott. And Jolie Rasmussen with another kill. That's her 3rd.
Great control from Rasmussen. All she needed to do was just wrist snap that ball off the top, right over the block to get that kill.
Oregon dominated the first 2 sets at the Huntsman Center last month. And they're doing likewise in the first set here. That left-hand swing by Barton goes long. And the Ducks can sense it now.
Well, and this is that tricky rotation. You said the left-hand swing from Barton. There's a reason that there's not a lot of left-handed outside hitters. They work much better on the right side of the floor. But in this particular rotation, you know, they get stuck a little bit because out of service, Danny Barton's in that left front situation. So a very fortunate call that Utah was able to get that ball back.
Served by Scully. Swing by Vanderweider. One-hand dig by Scully. Pushed over by Machado. She got the kill. What a nice play by Cameron Machado.
Not a lot Machado could do with that. Surprising the defense for Oregon couldn't pick that up, but she definitely set that with some power, if you can call it that.
Right against the cord and the serve from Scully. Shannon Scully, Huntington Beach, California native. Great high school program, Mater Dei in Santa Ana. Stone to serve. Good pass by Dorman. Machado dials up Barton. Over dig. And Nye was there. Dug by Maggie Scott. What a play. To the middle. And Berkeley Oblad puts it to the floor for the first time today.
And as Utah tries to get into some sort of rhythm offensively, what's working, you see that coming out of the middle. That is something that Utah has worked on in the last couple of weeks to kind of change up. These teams know each other so well. They need to show something different.
Vanderweider went off speed, upset at herself that she didn't find that opening. There was an opening there because they expected the Ducks to go to Samit Gill on the backslide. Berkeley Oblad serve. Good pass by Vanderweider. Vanderwide in transition with a kill. He's got 4. Tied for the match high.
Oregon has won in every single match when they have been hitting as a team right around 300. They're at 321 right now, which shows that every single player in system.
Fedora Anai going sharp angle on that one and finding an opening.
Anaya has one of the best sharp angle swings in the conference. Not a lot of space. She goes well inside the block and no defensive player around because it's such a sharp shot.
They need to bounce back from her after she struggled on Sunday against USC. 5 kills, 1 air. She's hitting 364. Her team still trailing it by 5 late in this first set. Wow. Choi back set, off speed. Very creatively done for Kinsey Kerber.
And there's that hole again in the middle of the court. The off-speed shots for Oregon are definitely a hold there defensively. You want that off blocker, Taylor August, to come inside and pick those up.
Rasky going to Taylor August, and she finds the back line.
And the last time these two teams played, the opposites for Oregon were absolutely on fire. They really want to get them the ball.
Willow Johnson had 17 kills, hit 412. August 10 kills, hit 500. That was 4 weeks ago. Swing for Anai into the block of August and Gill. Another swing for Anai. And it was wide. So set point coming up for the Ducks.
Set point.
They have been in control since the beginning. Utah out of system, but I trying to better things. Pretty good job of it. Rasky goes to August. August ends it for Oregon. They take set 1, 25-18.
Very solid showing. We saw a few runs back and forth. Definitely some bright spots, but Oregon all over this first set.
25-18 for the Ducks. Second set coming right up from Eugene. Back on Spike Night, brought to you by Tatcha Car, 25-18. The Ducks take the first. Now we're going solo in the Pac-12 tonight. So the Tatcha Car scoreboard update is a look at Friday's matches. Another top 25 match, USC at Washington. Utah at up-and-coming Oregon State on Friday. Cal will be at Arizona. A lot happening in the Pac-12 on Friday. Colorado at Oregon, Stanford at ASU, UCLA at Washington State. The numbers for set 1, Ducks hit 355, Utah hit 278.
I think Utah was able to kind of come back in that first set. Although Oregon dominated the entire time, Utah surprisingly had more kills, and that was really because down the stretch they got it going. Oregon had started out so tough with tough serves and a solid offensive performance.
And that's what Matt Omer said. They needed to put pressure on Utah at the service line as they did the first 2 sets in Utah.
Right, and they saw success there because the passing lanes for Utah really broke down. Utah's a team that passes with 2 passers sometimes, and when they have to pull back the weaker wing hitter, then that's definitely a target for the servers for Oregon.
Shannon Scully to serve. Good initial pass by Vanderwide. Swing for Rasmussen, a kill for Rasmussen. They went to her early on in that first game.
They did, and I think what helped Oregon as well is they were able to diversify their offense. We saw Vanderwide with 4 kills, Rasmussen with 4, but then Johnson, Stone, August, each having 2. Just very well spread out offense.
Choi dialing up Anai. She gets dug by Maggie Scott. Bump set for Rasmussen. Couple of swings for Willow Johnson. And Utah ends up with a point.
This is an opportunity right here for Utah to kind of go on the attack. They were on the defensive the entire first set. Berkeley with Blad has the ability with a great float serve that moves around a lot to get a lot of points in this rotation for Utah. However, because it's the beginning of the second set, Utah's in their 5-1 situation, and so right now she got Bailey Choi in the front row. She's definitely a blocking target. Look for the ball to go out to the outside.
Johnson. What a swing for Willow Johnson. Oblad down into the court.
Johnson coming into the middle, and although Utah is able to pass that ball up, they can't transition out.
Monica Stone with the serve. She goes short, right toward Dorman. Quick to the middle. Lua Falamana with a kill. She had just one in the first set.
And it looked exactly like that. A perfect pass. She's up early and waiting. And although the block is a double block, pretty good for a middle, but they're late because she is such a fast hitter.
If you have a middle that can do that, it helps open up the pin so much. Swing for Johnson into the double block of Lua Falamana back and Choi. In fact, Anai out there, Bailey Choi back at the service line.
Anai was waiting for that ball that was kind of going a little tight. You'd see Anai dropping those hands, perfect position, right into the seam.
So the first time through the rotation, Choi plays all the way around. Swing for Shamit Gill. She has a kill, and that's her first. They do that because they don't want to run out of subs if the set should go lengthy?
Exactly. With only 15 subs and you're doing a double sub every 3 rotations, you could run out and get stuck somewhere Utah don't want to. So in order to combat that, Utah starts out and goes through one bit with Bailey Choi.
Diving dig by Vanderweide. Swing for Taylor August. Choi dials up Kerber and into the antenna. And off the block and into the antenna.
Oregon thinks that it hit the antenna before the block.
Right.
But they don't feel like they're going to argue it too much.
Challenge is in play tonight. I kind of think the Ducks might have a beef on that. Vanderweide pushes it over. Choi going to Kerber off the soft block. Rasmussen was there. Free ball coming for the Utes. What can they do with it? Choi. And that's Lua Falamana. And
that's the way we saw how quick Lua Falamana is. But that's only on a perfect pass. And when the pass isn't there, she's completely out of the offense. Utah's really tried to generate opportunities to get her the ball on a slower swing when maybe the pass isn't there.
Looks like she had the timing back after that ankle injury that cost her some time. Backslide Gill down the line. She got the touch.
Gill has gotten better and better as this season's progressed. Her offense is really starting to get going, getting that relationship with Rasky really dialed in.
Moved to M2 role a couple of years ago with an injury to Lauren Page and hadn't really given it up. That's another one for Lua Falamana. She had 1 in the first set and 3 here in the second.
Utah really trying to attack out of their middle slot, whether it's the middle blocker or the right side's coming in or even the lefts.
Going back corner, Taylor August. 3 kills for her.
Taylor August moving to the left, she had been such a fixture of the offense for the last couple of weeks with the injury to Rasmussen. I think, she really wants to get in and be effective and be that go-to player.
Oblad from the middle with the kill. The Utes using their middles offensively more right now and paying dividends.
And any time you can use your middle, it means you're passing. You're staying in system. You're really handling that. And for Oregon, they want to control the serve. That's when they were effective.
Ducks trying to use Veronica Stone from the middle. And right into the block.
It was a very fast pass arc from Vanderweide, and not a lot of arc to it at all. Stone was up quick, but the block for Utah right there, getting it all the way.
Utah long known as block. They led the nation in blocking, 1993 and again 2006. Good dig by Dorman. Machado. That swing by Danny Barton. It went wide. Ducks back within 2.
Danny Barton just missing. She struggled a little bit tonight, but when she finds her groove, she's very tough for goal to stop, and Utah really would like to get her going.
Maggie Scott, Willow Johnson back in for the Ducks. They're 6-2. Machado, low back set to Berkeley Oblad on the slide. Pushed over by Jolie Rasmussen. Excellent job by Anaya to keep that ball alive. To the middle, to Veronica Stone.
That was a very nice heads-up play from Maggie Scott, recognizing that the defense was a little out of sorts on Utah's side as they have struggled to get that ball over. She goes with the quick set because they didn't have time to set up.
Service there on Scott. Utes back up by 2. Beth Lanier, 28th-year head coach, 13 times in the NCAA tournament. 3 times in 6 years in the Pac-12. Johnson went off speed, diving dig. Nicely done by Cameron Machado.
Machado coming in as just a freshman herself. Scully a freshman. A lot of freshmen for Utah having significant time. Danny Barton, Kenzie Kerber. A lot of talented youth on this Utah roster.
Janet Scully, her first kill, and now she has her first ace. That's her 17th ace of the year against just 15 service errors. Timeout taken by the Ducks, trailing the second set by 4 after a dominant win in the first for Oregon.
On a day, the Olowski brothers are on a roll this season.
Eric Olowski wins it for the Bruins.
Oregon State 8, UCLA, Thursday at 4:30 on Pac-12 Network.
This week, we've got non-stop on gridiron action. First on Friday, Mike Yam and the guys get you pumped for the weekend on Inside Pac-12 Football. Then on Saturday, tune in for a Pac-12 Conference Football triple header. We've got back-to-back homecoming matchups. And on Sunday, get a wrap-up of a whole week of football and everything else around the Conference of Champions with Sports Report. It's all happening this week on Pac-12 Network.
The past was but a precursor. Consider it speculation, or merely just a warm-up. Huddle. Now it's time. Time to huddle up. To move the chains. To show your colors. It's time to...
And she is definitely fiery at this point as we get a good look at that block.
Anaya averages about a half a block a set. Rasmussen dug by Dorman. Swing for Anaya, and that block goes out of bounds.
It's right down the front of the block of Gill. She's moving off, trying to close it down, but doesn't quite press, and it just slips down her front.
So she comes out, and Lauren Page comes in. Matt Ulmer making the switch right now to Page as Utah on a run at the service line with Choi, the setter, to serve. Vandewater off the block. Maggie Scott dumps it over, diving, big effort by Dorman. But Scott finally gets Choi off the service line.
Smart tip from Scott, so fast. You see how at the last second she shows tip. Everything else leading up to that point was all about the set.
Anaya off the block, one-hand dig by Rasky, swing for August. She gets dug by Scully, bump set by Choi. Kerber goes off speed, into the block. And now Anaya, she goes off speed and finds a hole. Another kill for Adora Anaya.
In so many different ways, Adora Anaya playing so well at mixing it up, you know, showing the incredible court control that she has. She can put it on a dime wherever she wants on the other side of the court.
August off speed. And we had a bad contact. So the point goes to the Ducks.
Lily Fallimana steps into set there, realizes she doesn't have a set hitter in front of her, so tries to step back, but just too late and can't control it.
If a middle blocker is going to set, I mean, shouldn't they take that into account? I mean, you being a middle?
A lot of middles have great hands, and Louis Falimana can usually get that ball out. I think it was kind of just that last-minute surprise that she looked and saw that she had no hitter.
Rasmussen. Choi going to the middle to Oblad. Berkeley Oblad with her third kill of the match.
Choi finding Oblad, and we saw that Utah really wanted to attack out of the middle, and I think they'd like to get the ball to Oblad more. She hasn't been as big of a factor as they've wanted her to be, frankly.
Timeout taken. Utah leading at 18-14 in the second. After this set's over, we'll have our Pac-12 intermission report with Kate Rooney in studio. Take a look at the football matchup between these two schools here in Eugene on Saturday, and then preview of Friday Night Volleyball here on Pac-12 Network. Yep, Saturday college football coming up. Pre-game show at 10 o'clock, and then a triple header. Cal at Colorado, Utah at Oregon, Washington State at Arizona. 2:45 p.m. Again, these two schools meet in the gridiron. And how about this? A couple of volleyball players for the Utes have brothers on the Utes football team. Danny Barton's brothers, Cody and Jackson, and Adora Anai's brother, Bradley.
That should be a fantastic game as well, and we've seen the Barton family and the Anai family supporting each other when the Utes are at home.
That's great to see. A Ducks fan blew up social media yesterday when quarterback Justin Herbert was seen practicing in pads, wondering is he going to be back. He's been out with a broken collarbone. They've really, really missed him. And then, of course, the Utes had their quarterback, Tyler Huntley, out with an injury. And he came back, had his struggles last week against ASU, but Kyle Whittingham expressed confidence in him. A lot of storylines coming up for that game on Saturday here in Eugene. That'll be the middle game of the Pac-12 triple header at 2:45. Gorman trying to keep the pressure on the Ducks. Swing for August. Dug by Choi. Dorman doing what she can, and Choi sends it over. Nice job by Utah to keep the ball alive. Swing for Rasmussen. Both teams earned that one, and the Ducks got it.
Yeah, tremendous effort on both sides of the floor. Dorman, incredible pursuit to save that ball, pop it up. But because it's a free ball coming back over, Oregon has no problem transitioning for a kill.
Swing for Scully and a kill for Shannon Scully, her second.
Shannon Scully, usually that back row passer and defensive specialist, but she stays in the front row for Carly Truman and has been an effective outside hitter as well.
Just a freshman out of Huntington Beach, California. Backslide Stone, dug by Machado. Rasky goes to Stone again, right back to the well. Good coverage there by Taylor August. Rasmussen, dug by Anai. And Berkeley Oblad dials up a kill, number 4.
And here we are in the second set where Utah really starting to control the momentum. They're running a lot of different plays, getting the ball to their middles, creating opportunities through their defense and incredible effort on the floor, and then transitioning them.
Swing for Rasmussen, dug by Dorman. And we had a double contact. Machado. Got a tough shot, a long way to go to get to that set.
Yeah, tough call there, especially as Utah continued to roll. The momentum was there, so that's an opportune time to have that unforced error. This is a good chance for Oregon to come back. This is a great scoring rotation for them. We saw Maggie Scott get a couple of aces in that first set. She's got a big block in the front row. A good time for Oregon to make a run, and if they want to, they've got to do it right now.
Short serve, but Scully was there. And on the backslide, Berkeley Oblad having a great junior year, been difficult to stop. Excellent on that slide.
Nice high swing as Oblad just keeps it smart. She's not trying to hammer the low seam. She just uses the block in front of her.
Free ball coming for Utah. Swing for Anai off the block, dug by Scott. Bump set Vanderwide. A swing by Johnson. Looking to the back corner, but Scully was there. Adora Anai into the wall of stone.
Anai had been using a lot of off-speed shots, tips over the block. This time she decided to go for that seam, and it wasn't there at all. Ronica Stone came over, closed to Willow Johnson. Perfectly formed block.
3 blocks for the Utes, 2 now for the Ducks. The Ducks need it. Vanderwide. Excellent chance again. Vanderwide, another swing. She gets dug by Scully off the soft block. Swing for Danny Barton. One-hand dig. Maggie Scott. Vanderwide, another swing. And into the block again. Excellent job at the net by Oblad and Barton.
Longest rally of the match. Both teams defensively working so hard. Fantastic effort from Dorman on the Utah side. And Utah, great blocking again as Oblad steps in to finish that off.
Now Utah can sense it as they try to answer the first set win for Oregon. Oregon took that one 25-18. Willow Johnson. Excellent coverage by the Ducks and Ronica Stone. Bump set Honar. Here comes Willow off the block, dug by Barton. Adora Anai with a big swing off the soft block. Here comes Vanderwide trying to roll it over. Anai again trying to do likewise, and not quite.
Stone hanging up there on that play, and you could see Ronica Stone breathing hard. That was a long rally. She went antenna to antenna on the block and yet still continued to get out there and close, hang in the air, and keep her team alive.
Short serve by Stone. Danny Barton. Barton with a lightning bolt of a kill. That's her third. And it is set point for the Utes as they try to head to intermission, even up 1 apiece. Bailey Choi's been excellent at the service line, put pressure on the Ducks. Doesn't have an ace, but that's not what serving's all about. It's things like this, keeping the Ducks out of system. Giving the Utes a chance to close it out right here, and it's Anai who took a little bit too much off.
And I'm trying to be a little cagey, and that usually has fallen, but what hasn't, I think she's been a little unnerved by the huge block that's in the front row. And when you're facing that big block of Taylor August specifically, she's trying to avoid it rather than attack it.
It's an ace for Rasky, using the cord to her benefit. It's like a backup slider in baseball. You can't make it happen, but when it does, it's unhittable. It's not an ace for Rasky, but it results in a free ball. Rasky going back set. August 1v1 with the kill. And the Ducks within 3.
And Oregon has continued to fight where Utah kind of gave up in that play. Definitely Coach Lanier wants to talk about it.
Timeout taken by the Utes. Hey, coming up on Friday, the Pac-12 Cross Country Championships from right here. It'll be in Springfield, right next door to Eugene. Will Colorado continue their winning streak, or will a new leader emerge from the pack? Pac-12 Cross Country Championships, Friday at 11 a.m. with a women's championship on Pac-12 Network. And there is Tom Heineman, who was the women's head track and field and cross country coach here for a long time, mid-70s to 2003. And still around the campus and doing good things. And if you go see the meet, he will be one of the announcers. Tom Heineman. So, 4th set point for the Utes. Yeah, the chances are very good they're going to get this done, but what a match Sunday between UCLA and Colorado in Boulder. Colorado had 4 match points. UCLA fended all of them off and ended up winning the match.
Right, it's never over. That's why all of these teams will say you've got to, when you're up, you've got to shut the door. You've got to finish strong. And not only to finish the set, to win, but for the mental aspect of it, the momentum and the confidence. You don't want to open the door to the other team and have them realize, hey, we've got their number.
This crowd making more noise, including the pit crew behind us, sensing the possibility of a comeback. That's the 4th set point. Ducks still trail it by 3. Rasky excellent at the service line. Can the Utes close it out here? That was Adora Anai. Taylor August. Free ball coming for Oregon as they try to close it within 2. Rasky dialing up August again. 1 against 2 this time. Excellent dig. And there's the kill that ends it for Kinsey Kerber. So finally, on their 4th set point, the Utes get it done.
Well, and they'll have time in this big break to talk about it, feel good about their tied up set there. But Oregon made a run there and almost scared the Utes a little bit.
But Kinsey Kerber with a kill that ended it. She has 3 in this match, and we're even up at a set apiece. Maggie Scott, 13 assists and 10 digs. And for the Utes, 9 kills, 8 digs, and a couple of blocks. And joined by Matt Ulmer, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks. And Matt, good dominant win in the first set, and then not quite so much in the second. You guys struggled. Was it all, like you'd said before the match, at the service line, the pressure you applied in the first set?
Well, I think that helped in the first set. I thought we served great. I actually thought we served well in the second set. We missed a few more, but I thought we kept the pressure on them. We just didn't. It felt like we didn't score as well. I thought their defensive pressure picked up. Made some great scramble plays. Got a couple balls up that they didn't get in the first, and we didn't respond great. Finally, until the end there, Willow got blocked once or twice, and so she started shooting the ball. Oh no, stay aggressive. Good things are going to happen. Taylor got dug one time, and then she started to get up and crank it again, and good things will keep happening. So I just thought we had a little lapse there where we didn't get aggressive. We got to stay in that mindset.
Hey, Coach, what do you want to see from your team coming out to start set 3?
I like really everything we're doing. I just didn't like that lull we had. So stay aggressive. Setters, again, don't get caught into just setting who you want to set who's open. Everybody's scoring if you give them a good opportunity. We have to do a much better job with our middles blocking their middles. We were late. We know they run a really fast tempo, and we were still late. So that got my blood boiling a little bit, but we'll make that adjustment. We'll be better.
All right, Matt, always appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Matt Ulmer, head coach of the Oregon Ducks. And the Duck and the fans will look for better things in set 3 as the Utes come back to even this up at a set apiece. Kate Rooney going to be in studio with Pac-12 intermission in just a moment. Take a look at the football matchup between Utah and Oregon coming up at 2:45 on Saturday, and preview some of the volleyball matches in the Pac-12. Utes and Ducks even at a set apiece heading into the 3rd set. Spike Night brought to you by Tasha Carr. Welcome in the head coach of the Utes, Beth Lanier. Block U came up big at the net in the 2nd set. Was that a focus of yours after the first?
It's always a focus, but I thought the difference really was our passing. I thought we passed a lot better in the 2nd set.
Coach, what changes do you want to make coming into this 3rd set, despite the win in the 2nd?
Yeah, I think just getting a little bit more in a rhythm on our offense. We've been struggling, and hopefully if we can get keep the passing tempo there and just get a little more rhythm in our offense.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Beth Lanier, always fun to chat with her. 28th year head coach of the Utah Utes. Shannon Scully, couple of kills, 8 digs for the true freshman out of Huntington Beach, California. Excellent passer, had some uncharacteristic struggles against USC on Sunday. Much better in this one. Adora 9 kills, 8 digs, and a couple of blocks.
We look at after 2 sets, both teams pretty close, tied as far as stats go. I think that's because, they did a really nice job feeling each other out and making adjustments. Volleyball is a game of adjustments, and we saw Utah adjust after that first set where Oregon had really controlled the serve, and they were able to make adjustments, start passing better and playing better defense. I think the matchup I'm really interested in, Adora and I, they're on the outside going up against Willow Johnson. Both of them really doing a nice job blocking the other one. And these are 2 players that when they last played, both had great offensive nights. Willow Johnson, she's hitting negative at this point, only 3 kills for 16 attacks. So for Oregon, they would love to get their opposites going, both August and Johnson especially.
And as we start this, Lauren Page is in the front row to begin things. Anai starting it, going off speed. Set by Rasmussen, the swing by August. Here comes a Nye, second swing of the rally. Back row attack, Vanderweide. She gets dug by Kerber. Backslide, Oblad into the block of Page and Stone.
Rasmussen really working. She was lining up on that play, seemed to be in pretty good position, but whenever you're running against a quick attack, you've got to get your hands up and over and seal that net.
Yeah, that was Rasmussen, pardon me. Here's Rasmussen with the swing, and she goes off speed off Lua Falamana and Choi.
Not exactly what she wanted, but she'll take it. Actually perfectly executed. You can't do a better roll shot than that when it almost rolls down the back of the blocker's hands.
Adadora Nye gets a touch. That's her 10th kill in first half of the intermission.
And Coach Ulmer really trying to attack Adora Nye from the service line. He wants to disrupt her, get her moving on her pass. Even though she's a fantastic passer, even if she passes a perfect pass, it may disrupt her approach and take her out of the offense.
What a swing for Stone.
And what a save from Rasky as she jumped on that play. Adora Nye went up to contest it. Because she jumped with the setter, Stone had nobody up. Hammers that ball.
Maggie Scott, Willow Johnson check in for the Ducks. Maggie Scott now a senior. Will Falamana went off speed and pushed over by Samit Gill.
Right, a great serve again from Scott because they know Lua Falamana. She's 5 for 8. She's definitely the target of the attack. A short serve makes her pass the ball, takes her completely out of the offense.
And pardon me, fans of Jolie Rasmussen, that's twice this set I've misidentified her. All right, here comes Vanderweide, and it's a free ball coming for the Utes. Swing for Kerber, and she finds the floor.
Because Lua Falamana has been so good when she jumps, Oregon jumps with her, and now that that's established, that opens up all those pin hitters. Kenzie Kerber, nobody up for her to get the swing.
Ducks dominated the first set. Utah, by and large, did the second till a late comeback for Oregon. Swing for Rasmussen. Overdig by Scully. Chance for the Ducks to the middle to Stone. Ronica Stone with another kill. She has 5.
And there's that again, getting up quick. The block, Lua Falamana doesn't get over the net in time and gets used as Ronica Stone is up quick out of that transition.
Serve for Rasmussen. Good pass by Scully. Swing for Kerber. One-hand diving dig by Rasmussen. To the middle to Lua Falamana. That time Rasmussen couldn't dig it. And I don't know who could. That was a bullet.
Well, I think Oregon doing a nice job keeping the ball alive, but when you have to give the ball back in a free ball situation or a down ball, then Utah just resets their offense and has no trouble coming back with a tough attack.
Opportunity here for the Utes. What a dig by Honar. Set by Rasmussen, swing by Vanderweide. The kill for Vanderweide, her 5th.
Great turn, Honar. Saving that play, not only digging it, but controlling it, allowing Oregon a good swing at that play.
I think that's my favorite thing about volleyball. A great dig.
Well, you're stealing the glory and the great shot, and it feels good.
Shannon Scully uses the block. That's her 3rd kill in 3 swings.
Scully very smart on the outside. She's hitting high and hard to use those hands.
Averages about 0.3 kills per set, so about 1 kill every 3 sets, and she's got 3 so far in this one. Swing for Johnson, looking hard angle, and she got it.
Johnson just gets 1 in that series. Kind of quiet, but that's exactly what they want from her. Just get going, gain some confidence. She attacks hard and gets that sideline, and she's a player, like we said before, that probably won that 5th set for them the last time these two teams played.
Rasky and August check back in. It setter and opposite in the 6-2. Pushed over by Rasmussen, and Nye was there. Swing for Oblad, and she has another kill. She's got 7.
We talked so much about how Utah really wanted to get their middle attack involved. Everyone, even their outside hitters, in the middle of the court. And they've been able to get that ball up to the net and run such quick balls to their middles in front of the setter.
And it's an ace. Shannon Scully entered the match with 16 aces. That's her second here in this one, so 18. Just 15 service errors coming into this match. August gets dug by Scully, and Dorman slams into a broadcast table and
apologized
and got up and said, "I'm sorry."
She impaled herself and apologized. But good pursuit.
Good pass by Dorman. Seems to be no worse for the wear. Anai gets dug by Honar. Swing for Rasmussen off speed, using the block and getting a kill. Jolie Rasmussen now with a team-high 10 kills.
Honar again,
error.
yes, saving the play again, allowing her team another chance to run their offense.
Boy, what big shoes she had to fill with the graduation of Amanda Benson, and Honar has done so well. And Danny Barton getting the kill for the Utes.
Utah really splitting their offense. They're running quick to both antenna. That opened up a big seam for Barton to hit into, and she smartly hits to the back line.
Rasky to the middle to Lauren Page. Lauren Page has had her playing time messed around with so much. She's sort of been the odd person out in their rotation.
Well, she's such a talent anywhere on the floor. She's really that sixth man. She can play anywhere, in the middle, on the right side, on the outside, but as a result, she's kind of jack of all trades, master of none. And but Coach Ulmer said, just wait your turn, you're fantastic, and she's earned it.
Paige now a junior, and he told me a few weeks back that she's been their MVP because of her attitude despite losing the playing time.
Right. Veronica Stone coming in, who's been a fantastic middle, very solid as well.
Taylor August.
Taylor August with her sixth kill, and you see her high, hard swing. She is so tough to stop. And they've run her more inside in that two slot more often than not in this particular set. August really is a player that they'd love to get the ball to more. And, you know, she played on the outside for a couple of matches, but on the right side, they can still get it to her.
Into the block of Johnson and Stone.
You know, interesting, we talk about Adora and I kind of going up against Willow Johnson, and you can see these two, they've got some competition with each other. Each one kind of eyeing the other one when they get blocked or get a kill. I think two fantastic players going head-to-head in this match.
Back set Choi, swing for Kerber, and Kenzie Kerber gets the job done. Started with a great pass from Shannon Scully. Anai, 11 kills, hitting just 100. She's taken 40 swings. She serves now. Off the slide, Stone comes up with a kill. She's got 6.
Stone up quick, hitting high and deep. She didn't have a lot of time on that play, but she was able to speed up her approach, kind of stutter step the last little bit to get a nice swing.
Lua Falamana.
Tremendous effort from Lua Falamana. She was up quick, and when you're up and waiting, you're kind of at the mercy of the set, and that set was a little low, right at her neck, but she was able to keep it in play.
7 kills, 11 swings, hitting .636 without an error. Dorman goes after Vander Weide. Maggie Scott, backslide Veronica Stone, looking for some floor. Dorman was there. Excellent coverage by Oblad. Missed timing between Scott and Stone.
That's a tough play there. Stone recognizing that Scott was very tight to the net and couldn't set that ball outside, so she tried to come in and help her out, but couldn't get there in time.
Stone dug by Dorman. Bump set Choi. Swing for Scully. Honar was there. Back row attack pushed over by Rasmussen. Here comes Kerber. Big effort by Rasmussen. Another kill for Kenzie Kerber.
Kenzie Kerber is difficult to stop, not because she puts a lot of heat on the ball, but it's her location. See how she's hitting deep, high and deep to those back corners, away from the defenders.
6'3" and has some hops. Overdig that time by Dorman. Lots of options for Scott. She goes to Willow Johnson, who has a kill. And for Willow, that's number 5.
Johnson still trying to find her groove. That time a little early on that play, but because she jumps so well and is so athletic, she hangs and then is able to cut that ball down the line. Beautiful no-look line shot.
And there's Shannon Scully.
Scully trying to do the same thing. She's facing cross court. The defense is assuming she's going to go there, and then at the last second turns it line, but Scully just misses that play.
Ducks up by 1 here in the 3rd set. Joy backs at Kerber. Page and Vanderweyde were there, but a seam in the block.
Well, and there's a tough play because as a middle, you always want to go. And even if you're late, you want to get up and take away some sort of court. But if you jump and you're not in good position and you're off the net, you're actually more of a hindrance, you know, making yourself a target to get used.
So better to let go and let the defense do its job.
Well, at least, yeah, leave a seam, but go up and get over and press is another big kill from Vanderweyde.
Lindsay Vanderweyde now has 6 kills. Timeout here in the 3rd set. Lindsay Vanderweyde coming up big for the Ducks to put them up by 1 midway through the 3rd.
You're watching Pac-12 Network, where champions play.
Introducing the new 5W Prime from Tachikara. Our new T-Tech Micro Leather is engineered to enhance ball control.
I like the texture, it feels good on my fingertips.
When I have a sweaty platform, I know I can still pass this ball up to my setter.
Tachikara's history of using the most advanced materials and construction methods continues with our new T-Tech Micro Leather found only on the 5W Prime.
Friday. It's the Pac-12 Cross Country Championships, and we're coming to you live from Springfield, Oregon. Will a new leader emerge from the pack? Coverage begins at 11 with the Women's Championship, only on Pac-12 Network.
Well, this is the 8th set these two teams have played this year, and before this one, the only one that was back and forth that was close was the 5th set in Utah 4 weeks ago, won by the Ducks 21-19. The Ducks dominated the 1st set in this one. Utah did the 2nd. This one is close.
And this is just good volleyball. This 3rd set on both sides of the floor. I mean, you have Oregon who's hitting 545 at this point, and in this set, Utah hitting 400. Neither team making a ton of unforced hitting errors. They're just battling. Every point is earned instead of given away.
You saw the all-time series. Each team won on the other team's home floor last year. The Ducks won in Salt Lake City earlier this year. Utah trying to return the favor again. And the Ducks coming up big at the net.
Right, good adjustment. The Ducks recognizing the Utah's trying to run into that middle slot. A triple block, and Danny Barton hit right into it.
Machado going to Scully. Rasky was there. The set by Vanderweyde. The swing for August. She gets dug by Machado. Overdig. Taylor August was there. Read nicely by Shannon Scully. Guiding effort by Dorman. Very normally will come up with that.
Now, this is a strange one. She kind of shakes her head. She was right there. She read it well. Everything indicated no problem digging that ball. Smart tip from August and goes right through Dorman's hands.
Uncharacteristic of her, she had 30 digs, the most by a Ute in 9 seasons last Friday against UCLA. There's Berkeley Oblad. Nothing you can do about that.
Just threading the seam. Oblad up early, gets her 8th kill. She's hitting 400.
To the middle to Lauren Page. That's her 2nd kill.
Lauren Page, also such a fantastic athlete, jumps out of the gym. She's up quick, she's ready, and she's making an impact in the blocking lanes as well.
Page getting playing time while Samit Gill sits this one out for now. Swing for a nigh. Going hard angle and going wide.
So the block for Oregon really getting in a nice head a little bit. They blocked her a couple times. She's been forced to do some off-speed shots, that time trying to avoid the block completely, and she hits out.
So at the mid-set break, it was 15-14 Ducks. They've moved ahead by 4, and the Utes have taken a timeout.
Oregon's made a nice run behind really good serving and solid net play and defense that they've been able to transition and get some much-needed kills. Adora and I trying to avoid that big block in front of her and hits wide.
All right, Beth Lanier, what's she telling her team right now?
Well, I think they want to get that ball back with a quick side out, run a play, and get a solid swing at the ball. You know, Oregon had been doing a nice job being on the offensive, and you could tell that Utah hadn't quite found their groove. They really were struggling to put the ball over the net, and they were forced into shots that they weren't used to. They've been successful going to Oblat out of the middle, but, you know, who knows at this point.
Well, there's 6 Pac-12 teams in the top 25 right now. USC, Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and Utah. One of the top 10, that is Stanford, the number 2 team in the nation, trailing only Penn State. Get this, Penn State, the number 1 team in the nation, only team ranked ahead of Stanford. Penn State is hitting .351 as a team this year. That's crazy good.
It's crazy good. That means they are passing well, and it means their setters doing an excellent job crafting an offense.
Penn State's beaten Stanford twice this year, once in 5 sets, once in 4 sets, in tournaments in College Station and Champaign. But one was without Moretta Lutz, and one was with a slightly hobbled Moretta Lutz. And Stanford hoping to meet Penn State again. Who knows, maybe in the national championship match. And that would be fun to see.
That would be fantastic. Carly Truman rotating in, not on the outside, but on the right side, a position she's played, but not this year.
Service error on the Ducks. Still leading it by 4 here in the 3rd game. And of course, both these teams think they can make a run deep into December in the NCAA tournament. Swing for August. Dug nicely by Scully. Big swing for a nigh. Rasmussen was there. Good set by Rasky to August. She gets dug by Oblad. Swing for Lua Falamana. And we had a net violation. Point goes to the Ducks.
Lua Falamana trying to be up quick, and on her follow through gets the net. However, Utah not happy with the call previous to that play in the rally.
Connie Lua Falamana going up quick.
There's a quick play. Now we have the double sub again. Kerber comes back in. Adora and I and Lua Falamana in the front for Utah, and they've got to make a run right here. Oregon in good position, just side out to get the 3rd one.
They went on a run in the 2nd set with Bailey Choi at the service line. Need to do that here. Rasmussen trying to get her off the service line. She does. Jolie Rasmussen, her 11th kill. No attack errors. She's hitting .550.
Everything about Rasmussen says control. She gets up, she swings. Terrific volleyball IQ. She has great court sense, can see where she wants to put it, and just eases it on. It doesn't look like she's working that hard, but she is. And there's a lot going on there as she pays attention to what's going on.
Anai into the block. That's Stone and Willow Johnson. Couple of players who have famous fathers. Willow Johnson's dad, former big league pitcher, Hall of Famer Randy Johnson. Ronica Stone's father, Ron Stone, a 2-time Super Bowl champion and 3-time Pro Bowler. There the 2 of them are. They can talk about what it's like to have famous dads.
They can. I think that athleticism definitely paying off as both these players fantastic in their own right, as they have worked so hard to become the top of, you know, the Pac-12 conference, the best one of the best in the entire country, and these two players are at the top of that list.
I've told the story about Willow Johnson before, but you know, she had friends who were boys, friends who were girls as kids, and the friends who were boys would say, "Wow, your dad's Randy Johnson," and the friends who were girls would say, "Who's the tall guy?" But Willow's an interesting kid. Yeah, when she was growing up, this is rare for an elite volleyball player, she held a job at a fast food restaurant.
She did, and actually when she was recruited here, you know, the coaching staff felt like she was a great asset to the team in that she was so down to earth, such a hard worker, and they felt like, you know, having that job just helped develop that work ethic in her to the next level.
And her head coach, Matt Ulmer, thinks that she's a potential future national teamer. And, of course, Amy, you are a member of the national team. What would she have to do to be able to play at that elite level?
Well, I think she's definitely physically has what it takes. She hits a very heavy ball. She's very smart. You know, she's got the size that it would take as well. And I think as she continues to improve, that's the big thing. You know, everyone, when they step on the floor, it's how quickly can you make changes. And as Willow Johnson continues to develop as a player, she's still only a sophomore. You know, who knows what she's going to become.
Diving dig by Honar. Swing for Rasmussen. Luafalamana and Kerber there for the block.
Just catches the back line as Luafalamana points at that ball. She was willing that block to fall in. A much needed side out that just catches the line.
Ducks went on a run late in the second set. Get pulled to within 3 after Utah had 3 set points that went awry. And the service error results in set point for the Ducks as they try to go up 2-1. Jolie Rasmussen, so good at the service line. She served 13 straight points against Washington last year. Swing for Scully, off the block. Second set point coming up for the Ducks.
Right, and the defense for Oregon has been so good in this third set, just transitioning balls, allowing them to take more swings at the ball, and the offense for Oregon so good, hitting close to 500 as a team, and that's a result of the great work in the passing lanes and also defensively. So that was just a rare miss from a team that had done so well in this third set.
Still lots of opportunities to close it out. It's Johnson, off the block, dug by Anai. Dump set Choi, swing for Scully, into the block, and then off the antenna.
Both Scully and Kerber, as freshmen in the front row, just being smart, you know, hitting that ball high and using the hands.
Gorman to serve again. Maggie Scott dials up Vanderweide in transition, and too long. 4th set point coming up for the Ducks. Timeout taken by Oregon.
You know,
still lead by 3.
Yeah, this is what we saw in the second set as Utah was ahead and had set point, and Oregon made a big push to scare them a little bit. I think Utah doing the same thing, making this late set run. Shannon Scully starting that rally by using the hands into the antenna, getting a big-time block, and great serving from Utah to keep this play alive, as you've got to keep the ball in as they force Vanderweide into hitting that ball. And a rare miss. That's only the 3rd error of the set for Oregon, who had been so good offensively.
Adora Anai right in the middle there. 11 kills, 9 errors, hitting .047. And somewhat quiet by her standards this year. They will need her to dial things up to make that deep run in the NCAA tournament. What does she have to do?
Well, I think that confidence, you know, it's very hard to be the player that the entire team is focusing on, and that the offense is pretty much built around. And although Anaya's had help this year with a lot of different players, she still carries the bulk of the load. And I think just mentally handling that, she's got to get out and trust in the skills that she has, because she's got some incredible volleyball IQ and court awareness and control there on the outside.
3 weeks ago, she registered her 1,621st career kill. past Kim Turner. Got the all-time lead for the Utes. There she is, Adora Anai. All right, 4th set point coming up for the Ducks. Crowd on its feet, trying to will them home. Scott going to Johnson again, down the line and wide. The Utes creeping uncomfortably close for the Ducks.
Well, and these unforced errors at the end, you feel Oregon just getting a little tight. They don't have to get the ball on the first kill. They just got to keep it in play and be smart.
Scott outside to Vanderweide, off the block. A chance for the Utes to pull to within 1. Swing for Scully, dug by Hona, overdig. Great opportunity here for Bailey Choi to the middle to Oblad, and the Utes are within 1.
What a switch as Oregon just really freezing up, playing very tight. They don't want to mess up, and Utah taking advantage.
Critical overdig there.
Berkeley Oblad getting up very fast out of transition. The quick arm swing finds the seam.
And so it'll be the 6th set point coming up for the Ducks. What is the biggest comeback you remember seeing? How many set points overcome in one set to win that set? Off the top of your head?
I don't think I remember, but you know, as a player, you have that fear of 14-11, like that particular score.
Right.
You know, it's just there, or 14-9, or you know, in a 5th set. So it happens. It definitely happens. And as a player, you get a little anxiety as you see the team, you know, creeping back in, and so that can cause you to tense up. But for Oregon, they're right there. They're in control. All they need is a play, and they've got this set.
It's on a 5-0 run. Hey, coming up on Sunday, a brand new episode of Sports Report. Join Mike Yam and Ashley Adamson as they break down all of the major stories from the Conference of Champions. Sunday at 7. 8 o'clock Mountain on Pac-12 Network. Big triple header coming up the day before. Pac-12 Network and Pac-12 Now. Cal at Colorado at 11. Utah at Oregon 2:45. Washington State at Arizona at 6:30. That's going to be fun. Should be a great game with a matchup between Luke Falk and Khalil Tate at quarterback. A lot happening this weekend on Pac-12 Network. All right. 6th set points coming up for the Ducks. Can the Utes even it up? Good pass by Honar. Backslide Stone. Ronica Stone ends it at last.
See the sigh of relief from Oregon and Utah.
Oh, baby.
They almost made it back there. But here we are. It's another.
Brought to you by Tancha Car here at Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene. Ain't this fun? Oregon had 3 blocks in that 2nd set, so they have 6 blocks total to 5 for the Utes, and hitting percentage is right about the same.
Yeah, and it evens out in the end, and we can see just how close this match is. But as it goes on, I think that was the big story. Utah didn't make their push in that 3rd set till the very end, and in fact, the hitting errors and even unforced errors in general for Utah really hurting them. You add them all up. 30 errors, 30 points that Utah's just given away. And that's tough. You can't, you know, they're fighting and they're close and they're in this, but just too many errors right now against a team like Oregon.
We thought at the beginning that this was going 5. The Utes fought so hard to get back and almost came all the way back in that 3rd set. Emotionally, what do they have to do to win this one?
I think that's the question. You know, after that ended, you could look at it 2 ways. Did it say, hey, we've got the momentum, let's take this into the 4th set, or was it a little exhausting to fight your way back and then lose anyway? And so I think that is the question. What will Utah come out in this 4th set like?
Who's going to strike first? Anai going off speed. Rasky was there. Set by Vanderweide. A swing by August. She gets dug by Scully. Backslide. Oblad off the block and down.
Berkeley Oblad out of transition, getting that kill. And you know, interesting, you know, we talked about Adora Anai just trying to get her game going. It's hard when you're an outside hitter and the only sets you get are the ones that are out of system. You really can't find your groove. So I'd like to see, as we see a good swing from Rasmussen again, for Utah, get Adora and I the ball on an in-system play. You know, set up a play for her where she has a good swing at the ball instead of just everything that's kind of a one pass or junk that you just have to keep in play.
That is a great point. You look at somebody hitting 0.45. When they're in system, it's to the middle, it's on a backslide, it's to the right side.
Yeah.
It's seldom to her.
Yeah, those poor outside hitters, they just get everything chucked out, and they, you know, have to make magic, and they usually do, which is fantastic.
There you go, do something with this. And Jolie Rasmussen, she has a match-high 13 kills now against just one attack error.
Yeah, one error for Rasmussen, and you know, we just said those outside hitters get a ton of different swings on the ball. For her to be hitting over 500 as an outside is absolutely fantastic.
Maggie Scott to serve for the Ducks. Bailey Choi to the middle. And that's Lua Falamana, who went a little bit long. Tani Lua Falamana, the senior out of Carson, California.
And she was kind of floating there a little bit, floated into that ball. As a result, it hit her wrist, and she wasn't able to snap down on it.
This time, combination play, and on the backside, and Nye. Nice job by the Ducks to keep that ball alive.
To steal that play, because it was a good pass, well formed. There was a big hole in the block, and the terrific defense. Vanderweide saves that, and another point to Oregon.
And they even set it up for a 9. Hard angle attack that time for Adora Anai. That's her 12th kill. Anai, all-time kills leader at Utah. Passed Kim Turner earlier this year. Last couple of years, the first Ute with back-to-back 500 kill seasons. There's Stone in the backslide. That's how they ended the 4th set. And they move up by 2 here.
You know, Stone didn't wrist snap, and it looked like it was going to go out, but because she was going corner to corner, she had a lot more room to work with, so even a spatch lands in.
Good pass by Scully. Choi going to Kerber, and Kinsey Kerber with a kill, got the touch.
Kerber again, deep, high and deep. Terrific swing as Kerber stays. She's very low error as well. She's going to keep that ball in play.
Kinsey Kerber, club volleyball at the well-known T Street Club down in Irvine, founded by Troy Tanner, father of UW setter Bailey Tanner. Dumped over by Scott, finding a hole, Maggie Scott.
Terrific deception from Scott as she waits. You see both hands up, and then at the last second turns to dump.
She had 2 kills in the 5-set win in Utah a month ago, 3 kills here in this one. Here's Kerber. Kerber using the block. How about Kinsey Kerber with 9 kills?
Once again, very solid. Kerber hitting over 400. She's going to keep that ball in play.
She had 5 kills, and it's 6:25 when these two teams met last month.
Dorman getting back there with a very tough serve, forcing Rasmussen to move into an uncomfortable position right there in the seam.
Dorman again. And that's Lauren Page into the block of Oblad and Kerber.
That middle a little bit forced. Maggie Scott really trying to get Page involved, but that was a tough one. You know, that pass off the net, and the fact that Page stayed tight to her didn't give a big window to kind of find that set.
Goes back to the serve. It wasn't an ace that time for Dorman, but it kept the Ducks out of system. Slightly out of system here, but Willow Johnson bettering that ball and finding the back corner.
Johnson, such a competitor. You see it on her face. She wants to win, and she will fight till the end. A good swing inside the block. She's really not in groove as much as she would like, but she doesn't give up, and she keeps working through it.
I wonder where she gets that competitive fire.
Her mom.
Her mom. Vanderweide, hard angle. Nice dig over there by Scully. Swing for Taylor August. Back line, got it. August with her 8th kill without an error.
Here's the opposites getting going for Oregon. The last time these two teams played, they combined for 28 kills. Just a huge hitting night for the two opposites for Oregon.
What are the challenges playing opposite as a right-handed swinger?
Well, I think you just have to wait for the ball to pass you, and so you have to adjust to the set. So when you're a lefty, you can pick that ball off a lot earlier. But you know, there's tons of right-handed opposites that do a fine job. August being one of them.
August tattoos one there, and now with 9 kills without an error, hitting .333. Moved all across the net in her Ducks career. There's Kerber going off speed. Kinsey Kerber over Vanderweyde and Page.
It was a terrific set from Bailey Choi as she's on the move, going against motion and pushing the ball back all the way to the antenna. That left a lot of line open for Kerber to hit into.
Cameron Machado, true freshman, into serve and set for Utah. Carly Truman was there. Haven't heard a lot from her tonight. Set from Rasky. Back row attack. Rasmussen dug by Dorman. Good set that time by Nye. Going to Shannon Scully. Bump set by Machado. The swing from Truman into the block of Page.
It's a big win for Oregon as Rasmussen came out of the back row and hit an absolute blister ball that Utah was able to dig, Dorman, but Oregon is able to save that play and gain some confidence. They're getting some momentum here in the fourth set.
Ducks lead 7-6 and blocks. And there's Shannon Scully. She has 6 kills now and 14 swings, just 1 error. Again, averaging about a kill every 3 sets coming into this one. And now she serves. Taylor August going across court to get it.
August showing a lot more power in this fourth set. You can see on her approach, she's generating a lot of momentum. She jumps out of the gym, just such a solid player.
Ducks leading 2-1. Who does Machado go to? She goes to Truman down into the cord. Again, Carly Truman kind of quiet tonight. Why is that?
Well, she started there on the outside and then struggled a little bit. Shannon Scully stays in, but then she moved there to the right side in order to replace Danny Barton, who was struggling. And I think, you know, she's really not comfortable there on the right side, so it's going to be interesting if they get her a lot of sets out there. Obviously a fantastic blocker, and she's played on the right side, but really more at home and comfortable on the left.
Utes hoping to go on a run with Oblad at the service line. Short serve and an ace for Oblad. Came in with 13 aces and 26 service errors, and for Berkeley Oblad, that's her first ace of the match.
I think both teams really playing well. We haven't seen a ton of runs up to this point, which means their side-out game is very strong. They're each passing well, they're staying in system, and they're able to get that first ball kill.
Ducks hoping to do that right here. Good pass by Stone. It's Rasmussen. And we had a net violation. And so the Ducks up by 2. Next 3 or 4 points in this one are critical, aren't they?
They are, and with Jolie Rasmussen in the front row, you know, she's hitting .520, doesn't make a lot of errors. It's not surprising that, you know, Coach Ulmer said she's that steadying influence on the floor for us. We just feel calm when Rasmussen's out there.
Maggie Scott at the service line, more aces than errors this year, puts a lot of pressure on the other team from the back line, as she did there. Good dig by Honar, lots of options. It's Johnson off the block and down. Willow Johnson now with 7 kills.
And there's a point that Oregon's able to turn and kind of expand their lead a little bit each time, each server getting a couple of points.
Lua Falamana. Did they ever need that to get the Ducks out of that rotation?
Right. Up quick. Lua Falamana had been running directly at the setter in the 1 slot. This time you see she's 3 feet away in that 3 slot. It didn't even look like she had a block in front of her. She picked that off so quickly.
No chance. Utah back in the second set, went on a run with Bailey Choi at the service line. Hoping to do likewise here on the backslide, off speed from Stone. Choi sets up back row attack from Scully, dug by Scott. set by Rasmussen. Swing for Vanderweide. Joy going to Kinsey Kerber. Bump set by Scott. Swing for Rasmussen again. What a nice bump set, moving backwards by Scott, setting up Rasmussen.
And Rasmussen working her way back into the lineup. She had been out with a back injury for so long, fights her way back, and then against UCLA gets a concussion. So she's a player that they have missed.
Ducks lead by 3 midway through the 4th.
The Olowski brothers are on a roll this season.
Eric Olowski wins it for the Bruins.
Oregon State, UCLA, Thursday at 4:30 on Pac-12 Network.
This week, we've got non-stop gridiron action. First on Friday, Mike Yam and the guys get you pumped for the weekend on Inside Pac-12 Football. Then on Saturday, tune in for a Pac-12 Conference Football triple-header. We've got back-to-back-to-back homecoming matchups. And on Sunday, get a wrap-up of a full week of football and everything else around the Conference of Champions with Sports Report. It's all happening this week on Pac-12 Network. Every Saturday night, tune to Pac-12 Network for a comprehensive wrap-up of the day's gridiron action. On Pac-12 Final Score, Mike Yam and a revolving panel of experts highlight all the big plays, big hits, and big upsets. Pac-12 Final Score, every Saturday night on Pac-12 Network.
A matchup between 2 of the top 15 teams in the nation. Spike Night, brought to you by Tachikara here on Pac-12 Network. 15th ranked Ducks, the 12th ranked Utes. Ducks lead 2-1, 15-12 in this one. What do the Utes have to do to get back into this 4th game?
Well, I think the confidence level definitely needs to come back for the Utes. You can feel the momentum. I mean, it's only a 3-point set, but we saw in the other 2 matches, you can't wait against a team like Oregon. You can't give them a big lead. You've got to come back, and you've got to come back quickly before they get to 20.
Swing for a knife into that wall of Stone and Johnson.
As big as that point is, a big block for Stone and Johnson. That mentally, what does that do to Utah? And especially Adora Knight, who had been struggling to keep that ball, and she really hadn't swung hard at a ball in a long time because of the block that was in front of her.
Will Falamana swings hard. Nice dig by Rasmussen. Bump set Dorman. Swing for Kerber. One-hand dig by Maggie Scott. Set by Rasmussen. Swing for Johnson. Kill for Johnson. What a dig by Scott. And then the set by Rasmussen.
The match is a roller coaster right now. Oregon on a high. They are really expanding their lead. Everything going their way. Terrific effort on both sides of the floor. And able to finish it off as they continue to keep the play going. A tough swing from Johnson.
Kerber into the block of Vanderweide and Stone. Ducks taking charge here in the 4th.
And just like that, it was a 3-point lead. Now it's 6, and for sure Beth Lanier wants a timeout.
Jolie Rasmussen at the service line. Told you last year against Washington, she went on a 13-point run from the service line, and coming up big here. They're just a different team with her out on the floor.
Well, the confidence level alone is something that is so fantastic for Oregon. And talking to Coach Ulmer as we get a good look at what she brings to the floor, which is a lot. He said, you know, this lineup, this is the lineup we've wanted all year long, and we really haven't had a chance to play it, and we haven't been beat that much with it. We've only lost 2 sets, and that was to UCLA with this lineup on the floor.
Rasmussen sprained her ankle last year, and that led to an injured back in the springtime. She gets back from that, and then she had the concussion in late September at UCLA, missed 4 weeks. Came back last week, and instantly the Ducks had jumped to an even higher level.
Right, and I mean, you think about that, she hasn't even had time to train with the team or practice that much, so her level of play is fantastic.
And the Ducks trying to knock off a really, really good Beth Lanier Utah Utes team.
Well, and the difference here, I think, you know, we saw runs of points by both sides in different sets in this particular match, but the difference this last one is the dejected faces of Utah. They really seemed to be down a lot more and kind of give up a little bit. I think this is an opportunity for them to come out of this timeout and turn it around mentally as much as physically.
The Ducks trying to sweep the Utes this year. They won in 5 at the Huntsman Center 4 weeks ago. Good read by Honar. Scott going to Johnson. Johnson gets dug by Choi. Anai sending in the air. Free ball coming for the Ducks as they try to go up by 7. Stone! And we had a violation.
Net violation on Utah, and they just continue to struggle with the unforced errors. Maybe pressing a little too much. When you're down, you feel like every time you touch the ball, it has to be the best, and it has to finish the play. And so sometimes you need to step back a little bit and trust the rest of your team and just do your best.
The Utes had won 6 in a row before falling on Sunday to USC. Beth Lanier said, hey, we've won 3 out of the last 4, but we only played well in 1. That was last Friday against UCLA.
Yeah, that's a good point. Utah's felt like they've kind of been struggling to put the pieces all together over the last couple weeks, and they were hoping to iron some things out on the road this week.
Johnson uses the block again. Willow Johnson now with 9 kills.
You know, this is a match that Oregon has clawed and scratched for every single point. You know, they've had tempo at times, but not everything firing on all cylinders until this moment where everyone seems to be on and everything going their way.
Tawny Luafalamana. That's her 10th kill. Utes have an eye with 12, Kerber with 10, Oblad with 10, Luafalamana with 10. Luafalamana and Oblad hitting .471 from the middle. And bad contact for the Ducks.
And this is an opportunity for Utah. Turn this 2-point turnaround with Dorman back there serving. It's a terrific rotation for Utah to really make an effort to work their way back in this set.
She was the one who served them back into it in that 3rd set. Back row attack, Anai off speed. Honar was there, swing for Vanderweyde off the block. That's a big point, Casey, gets Dorman off the service line to the Utes out of that rotation. And I think the, not alarming, but concerning thing for Utah is that Adora Anai has been completely taken out of her swing, of her hard swing. She's had so many off-speed shots. I think she's afraid to swing hard because that block has been there for Oregon every time. In the middle to Oblad, Berkeley Oblad with a kill. And now the rotation changed for the Utes. As the Ducks lead it now by 5.
Right, and you talked about that Adora Anai. She's got to continue to swing. She's got to be hit hard and attack because the Utes need that from her.
Cameron Machado to serve. Rasmussen back row attack. Oh, the solo block of Berkeley Oblad. Taylor August took a little bit off it. She got dug by Dorman. Oblad with another kill. He's got a dozen.
Oblad so active at the net. She's one of the smartest blockers in the conference. She sees so well. She moves well. Very disciplined player.
Utes need this one from Scully, dug by Honar, and a net violation against the Ducks.
And here comes Utah back to within 3. This is a big moment. You see Samit Gill come back in. She was taken out in the 2nd set, so here she is in the 4th with an opportunity to come back in and get a much-needed side out.
Didn't play it all in the 3rd or in the 4th until here. Overpass, Scully capitalizes. Utes back within 2.
And what a fantastic scoring rotation. This is the one Utah wants to be in. Dorman, she did it in the 3rd set, and here she is doing it in the 4th.
The timeout taken by the Ducks, leading it only now by 2.
It all starts with the pass, and a fantastic job. Dorman out of the back row, really working the serve-receive pattern for Oregon, serving in seams, making them move, making them communicate, and Oregon offense breaks down, obviously, when they can't pass.
Todd Chikara match summary to this point, with the Ducks having won the first 2 of the first 3 sets. And Ducks up to 297, Utes at 235, 69 digs for Utah.
Well, I think both these teams have been so good and scrappy at extending the rally and keeping the play going. We've seen some big plays on both sides, and the defensive effort has really been incredible.
By the way, Bree Dorman, who had 30 digs against UCLA last Friday, the most by a Ute in 9 seasons, has 19 in this one. And Ronica Stone for the Ducks, 10 kills, hitting .421. She had the kill that ended the third set.
Ronica Stone's so fast, she gets up quickly, and she hits the ball so hard. She moves laterally so well, which I think is really great for a middle, because she can get in and move left or right very quickly.
These next 2 points are big. Machado to serve. Rasky serving up Vander Weide. Vander Weide with a kill, and it comes at a big moment. That's her 8th.
Vander Weide with that will rotate to the back row. You see Ronica Stone just waiting, dying to rotate back in and get in on this play.
On the front line, August, Rasmussen, and Page. Here's August off the block. What a one-hand dig by Machado. Swing for Scully, covered by Machado. Bump set by Dorman. Swing for Scully again. She gets dug by Rasky. Set by Rasmussen. Swing for August, her 3rd of the rally. Back row attack Anai. She gets dug by Vander Weide. Important rally, and it's long. Oh, this is fun. Swing for Shannon Scully. She gets dug by Hono. Here comes August, 4th swing of the rally, dug by Anai. Pushed over by Machado, but read well by August Rasky. Pushed over by Rasmussen. Swing for Truman, and she goes wide.
And what a win. Oregon feeling good about that one, although the whole team can't really breathe after that play. Great job on both sides, and the momentum for Oregon. That's a big point mentally.
Within 2 of winning it. Truman finds the floor. Did she need that one after what had happened on the previous one going wide?
Well, I think Truman does such a nice job coming in on the X play into the middle of the court. That really is her bread and butter, coming in out of the middle, whether it's from the left or right side.
Truman part of the Utes rotation since her freshman year 3 years ago. Rasky trying to get the Ducks to match point. Free ball coming for Oregon. Rasky to the middle to Page. Lauren Page with a kill. That's her 3rd.
And what a great job. Lauren Page coming in after having had to sit and watch despite tremendous athleticism and effort and contributions to the team. What a big point for her.
Ducks trying to knock off the number 12 team in the country. Here's their chance. Taylor August. Another opportunity here. Vander Weide, this time a bump set. August again, another swing. Dug by Dorman. Utes trying to keep it alive. Berkeley Oblad does.
Utah pushing their way back, and although this is a great scoring rotation for them, I think the confidence level for Oregon, they're feeling pretty good right now. They can get a pass up to the net.
Here's Jolie Rasmussen into the block of Truman and Luafalamana.
Rasmussen with only her 3rd error on the night, and Utah pushing again.